there's also something else in terms of installing amnesia, which goes beyond verbal communication. When you retrieve something, you know, the image that pops up that gives you the information that you're looking for, whether it's visual or auditory, but let's say there's this visual content. You can overlay something in front of somebody else's visual recall. Some of you watching this might not be aware of that, but I had a really profound experience of this with Richard, okay, when we were teaching stations, and he asked me, he said, so how did they do? So we mentioned this before, stations are where they do the exercises, on the trainings. You go around, room number one, group number 1, group number 2, 3, 4, and I used to remember who did what, because I could visualize number 1, number 2, and who was there. So I started off by going, well, the first one was Clive. He was teaching something, and then my picture disappeared. The picture that I was using to retrieve the information from just disappeared, okay? And most of you know that you can actually reach out to other people's pictures and grab them and tear them up and do all sorts of things like that. And, you know, Alessandro, the Italians are great at this, aren't they, with their gestures, knocking pictures out of the way. But my picture disappeared, and I thought, my mind's gone blank. I can't remember what happened. And I'm there with Richard by the side of me, waiting for me to explain what's gone on. And then he laughed and said, you can have your picture back. And it came back. I went, how did you do that? And he didn't answer that. Okay, no, he did. He said, easily. All right. And I thought, okay, he's not going to teach me how to do that. I have to go and work out how to do that. And I did. I worked out, and there's many ways you can do that. One is to take a picture of something and overlay it in front of something. Yeah. Or to actually, with your own gaze, move the picture away. So if that's something that some of you watching this weren't even aware you could do, that's something to go and play with. Yeah. Taking your visual output and imposing it in front of somebody else's.
You've just reminded me.
I'm glad.
many years ago. I'm remembering many years ago in a board meeting. When I was working for an investment bank in the City of London, my managing director was sitting next to me, and I just finished my NLP practitioner, and I'm sitting there, and she's called us all in at 5 o'clock in the morning so we could have this board meeting, and we can include people in Tokyo or somewhere. And she's going, and I'm tired and I'm grumpy, and she said, so the agenda for the day is, and she started to do this with her hand. And I thought, her agenda is there. It's there. Oh. And at that point, I hadn't figured out that I could move it energetically. And the person sitting over there didn't have any coffee. And the coffee pot was through her picture. So I stood up and I went through her picture to get coffee for my colleague. And then she went, so what we're going to do today is, and she laid her agenda out again. I deleted her agenda 5 times, and it was such fun.